Auzi, ne vezi?
So I was told to have this presentation in English, so I'm prepared to speak English now.
There's absolutely no problem. We can speak English as well. So Alexandra, she studied in Finland. She came back home, and she's founder of the educational center of Finnish inspiration, Yuppy Koti in Ploiești, and she's also an organizer of the FIEDO, which is the education festival. This year in 2017 it's been the second edition, and 2018 we will have the third edition. So Alexandra, you're next.
Thank you very much for your introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to see all of you there in Iași in the actually last day of a series of presentations and research in education. Actually, these two topics, research and education, put together make part of the foundation of a successful educational system. And it's not a mistake. I said just a part of it, because it's not the entire foundation, because research innovation without proper intervention in the system does not have much of a value. And this is why I must congratulate Information for its work to fostering access to quality research and education, and for bringing up the topic of research. And for me, it's truly an honor to be part of this event. I am actually here to talk about a project I have established in 2014 in my home city. And this project consists of a Finnish-inspired educational center. Why Finnish? Because I fell in love with the Finnish system right away 7 years ago when I first visited a Finnish school. And the love was so big that 4 years later I graduated from the master's degree in learning environment and educational system in University of Turku, southwest Finland. But when I came back, I tried my best to find a small, very small crack in the system where I could insert some Finnish ideas that could virus the entire system. I was totally wrong to try to find it at the top of the system, because I realized that change doesn't happen at the top as much as it happens at the bottom of the system. So I managed to find this small crack at the very roots of the system, where children and parents get to meet teachers, and where teachers are autonomous and they are free to innovate and to grow as professionals. And for me, this place is called Yuppy Koti. So I decided to work with very young children for two reasons. One is scientific and the other one is economic. And the second one was found a little bit later. First, because early childhood education and care represents the foundation for future learning. And it provides the children with the cognitive and the non-cognitive skills that will help them throughout their lives. And ECEC, which is the short form of early childhood education and care, refers to what happens to the kid from the day he or she is born until he or she goes to preschool. And I mean the social, the emotional, and the cognitive perspective. And what this research saying about this is that qualitative early childhood education and care services have a huge impact on how the adult will succeed in life. So this is a very, very big responsibility. But because my aim was to have an impact, the best way was to address the little ones. And Finland, which is my inspiration, has invested in this foundation for many, many years, which is why, for example, the PISA test results are actually no surprise. And the second reason, the economic one, is that again, we go back to research. Research shows that every euro invested in early childhood education and care is generating actually 7 euros back to the community and the society as a whole. So not just that education in general is a very good investment, yes, and Benjamin Franklin said it so well that an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. But nowadays, what research is saying is that investment in early childhood education and care pays an incredibly good interest. So I have selected for you a video that shows the fact that a Nobel laureate economist reached the conclusion that the money invested in the early childhood education and care yields huge profits, actually. And of course, it's very important to know what is to be done with the money that we want to invest in early childhood education and care. So I need your support from Iași now. With the first video, please.
What would you do with 2 billion euros? Early childhood education yields profits. With 2 billion euros, you could hire 15,000 doctors, build 150 schools, or triple the budget of the Finnish police force. Overcoming the sustainability gap is simple. Money should be put where it yields profits. In Finland, 3.6 billion euros are spent on early childhood education annually. The money invested in early childhood education yields profits, according to a Nobel laureate economist. For example, an additional investment of 360 million euros could yield a profit of 2 billion euros for Finland in the years to come. How's this possible? Education is the key to the success of our nation, and success in PISA surveys shows that we have a solid basis. Studies show that early childhood education is the most effective way of influencing a child's future and academic success, and through that, the future of Finland as a nation. Let's look at 5 ways in which the expertise of kindergarten teachers can influence a child's development. 1. The course of a child's day in kindergarten has an effect on his or her development and learning. Learning does not take place at a desk, but rather through child's play, and that requires expertise from the teacher. 2. The kindergarten teacher is responsible for the activities of the group as well as the individual development and learning of each child in the group. Planning activities requires solid theoretical knowledge as well as practical skills. 3. Giving support to children with special needs as early as possible preempts learning disorders and saves future costs of special education. The earlier the need for support is recognized, the easier it is to help the child. 4. The higher the teacher's education level, the better he or she can interact with the child, and the better the learning results achieved. 5. Social exclusion is a real threat. Just one important relationship with an adult can change a child's future. What should we do in practice? According to academic research, our most effective move would be to increase the number of kindergarten teachers with pedagogical education and to reduce the kindergarten group sizes. Find out more at lastentarha.fi. So what are we waiting for? Let's make a profitable investment in early childhood education.
Yeah, so thank you very much. Again, you could see that studies have found that early childhood education care is the proper direction for investments. And so in order to prevent later costs for the society, early intervention is a much better choice. But I'm not going to tell you that we are doing 100% what is happening in Finland, here in Ploiești, because during our existence as an educational center, and we are very young, we took into consideration, of course, the framework that I have right here. It's called the National Core Curricula for Early Childhood Education and Care. So we took this into account, but we also considered the Romanian context. We, of course, haven't managed to cover the whole document in our practice. First, because there are quite many differences between the two systems. And second, because it's quite recent. It was just implemented, it started to be implemented in 2016. So, considering all this, I chose to present here only 3 aspects that we have already implemented, and they are a big success. And what I need to add is that we strongly believe that anyone in any context can use these guidelines. And the first one is learning through play, because everything we do here is through play. Of course, the parents and teachers are a little bit aware, are afraid and are aware of the fact that their kids are playing a lot. And actually, it's not that we play a lot with the kids, but we also have an environment that is non-competitive. And it's non-competitive, play is the common language, and everything is like a great context for learning. Our aim is actually to allow kids to learn, but from the state of curiosity, by fostering the joy of learning, because it's very important for them to be happy when they learn, and also to develop their self-confidence. And as I said, many parents and teachers claim that only the traditional way of schooling teaches the kids to read and write. And by asking kids to sit still at the table and fill in worksheets is actually the best and most efficient way. We have a different approach, so we believe that everyone actually learns to read and write. Unfortunately, very few use these skills to improve their lives. So the question is why? Why is this happening? Because the joy of learning is far gone. And every young kid felt the pressure to read the letters and to learn how to read. And it's, of course, much easier to kill the joy of learning than to nurture the natural interest of the kids. Kids need to be actually ready. They need to be developmentally ready to read. And how they learn this at very young age is not by sitting. It's by playing. It's by having hands-on experiences with material. By interacting in the natural world and engaging with adults. So I bet that all teachers in this world and parents as well notice that kids naturally want to know things and they ask questions naturally. So, for example, we noticed that during role-playing games, they feel very secure to ask questions. Some of them are very complex questions that we don't even know how to answer. So this way, by asking questions, they develop their language and their literacy skills. And this is the foundation for becoming fluent readers later on. So through play, we can actually evaluate the kid if you want, because we evaluate them quite a lot. So we can see, for example, if a kid can concentrate if a kid can easily make friends. So children are actually designed to play. they play, and it helps them develop their social skills, their flexibility, of course the impulse control, their memory, and they also solve problems when they play. Of course, our argument when we talk to parents and other teachers is that when kids don't play enough, you can see that. And nowadays, you know, the ADHD, the attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, is very, very common. Is like the new tonsillitis. You know, that many generations had to have their tonsils removed because they had repeated infections in their throat. So kids are believed to be disordered, you know, and that they have ADHD, and sometimes they get this diagnosis very early in their life. And what the modern medicine is doing in most parts of the world is that it's trying to treat children from childhood. Of course, I'm not saying that there is not an ADHD problem. It is, but we need to look more carefully and see what is disturbing the kid. And childhood is a common condition in children. We all had it, and it's not a disease. Okay, so now going back to research, I have prepared for you another video. The director of the Research Center on Play in Education, Development and Learning at the University of Cambridge, Professor David Whitebread, talks about the importance of play-based environment in the early years and why self-regulatory abilities need to be built early in life. Okay, so please help me with the second video. Thank you.
The setting needs to be an emotionally warm setting. There needs to be an opportunity for children to form strong emotional attachments with the staff who are working with them. It needs to be very strongly play-based, and it needs to be supporting children's oral language development, and crucially, what we in developmental psychology refer to as their self-regulatory abilities, their abilities to become aware of their own emotions, their own cognitions, and thereby to take control of their own mental functioning. Self-regulatory abilities powerfully predict both academic achievement and emotional well-being over the long term. Many studies now are showing this. There's a recent study, for example, in the States, in the United States, where they measured children's ability to maintain their attention on a task at the age of 4, and the children who had high levels of self-regulation at the age of 4 were significantly more likely to get a high-quality first degree, to have got through college by the age of 25 successfully. On the emotional and social side, we know that children with these abilities are more likely to develop the ability to make friends, to work collaboratively in groups with other individuals. As an adult, they're more likely, again, there are a couple of studies showing they're more likely to own their own house, to have a well-paid job. They're much less likely to be engaged in criminal activity. So it is vitally important that we intervene, and intervene early. We have a situation where our youngest children are being cared for and taught by our least qualified, lowest status, worst paid educators. This makes no sense. anybody who works with young children recognizes that to the business of supporting them through play and through activity, to learn and to develop in the way that I've described, is a complex job requiring considerable intellectual and emotional intelligence from the people who work with them. It's not a simple task, and we need staff who are able, well qualified, are aware of the latest evidence on child development, and so forth. And at the moment, that's simply lacking in many aspects of provision, worldwide, and that's what we really need to build on. So my one recommendation, my key recommendation for policymakers in terms of, if they've got a certain level of financial budget that they want to aim towards early childhood education, is to spend it on enhancing the pay and the training and qualifications of the staff. That's really important.
Yeah, so please remember the fact that play is the language of all kids around the world. The second thing that I'm going to refer to is the outdoor learning. And the outdoors actually is the best classroom that was ever invented. Here in Ploiești, we take kids out, rain or shine, fog or snow. We play a lot and we learn a lot. And actually, because 2 days ago it rained heavily here, children, the very young ones, learned about the physics of falling because they used the slide on a rainy day. And I came to realize that we have no problem checking young children for ADHD, but we forget to understand why kids act so widely. And kids in Yuppy Koti, and I assume, and I know what I'm talking about, that in all Finnish kindergartens, they go outside every single day. And when they go out, because this is not all just they go out and that's it, they can ride a bike, they climb, they slide, they swing, they run, they jump, they draw on the blackboard, they hop, they, for example, crack walnuts. So they are very, very busy outside. And what we've discovered is that kids are calmer and they are healthier and they are more positive. And the problem is with the adults because they see nothing interesting outside, but children see lots of interesting things outside. And they are very busy when they go out, and they learn through all senses. Learning outdoors helps kids feel challenged and excited by learning. And I'll give an example from my experience as a student in Finland. It's actually quite common that adult students spend their seminars outdoors. And so for 90 minutes, they can walk around the campus, they stop by a statue and discuss about a topic. And in the end, actually you never feel when those 90 minutes are gone. You feel much better, you learn better, and you feel happier. So just imagine that if this is the effect that being outdoors is having on adults, adults that can sit still and can, can be okay without fidgeting. Imagine how this being inside all day long is so difficult for kids. I would say it's a nightmare for them. So if you are a teacher, you just try it once with your students, kids or adults, and you will see that it's going to have a huge effect on them, and they are going to keep this in mind. Well, of course, teachers in Romanian kindergartens who have 30 plus kids in their classes well, for them it's going to be quite difficult to help 30 kids get dressed, tying 30 pairs of shoes just before, getting out. So, but my encouragement here is that we need to have faith, because kids learn fast and they are very motivated to go out. So how we see this, it's like another opportunity for learning. And so before kids even go out, they have the chance to build their autonomy. If you look back at research, we see something very disturbing. Studies show that today's children spend less time outdoor than prison inmates. So those who are in jail are actually spending more time outside every day. And in defense of the children, many experts like Sir Ken Robinson and Dr. Stuart Brown have started talking about the benefits of being outside. And I'm going to refer to the third aspect very fast, because it took quite a lot of time from your time. And I'm going to refer to the teachers. And what I want to highlight is the fact that kids want to talk. They express themselves, sometimes in very interesting ways. Sometimes they are crying and pushing others and running around, and we need to understand what they want to say. And it's very important for teachers to be able to understand them. So we need to take time to listen to them and to think of every circumstance of being a possibility for learning something. What we are doing here in Ploiești is that we organize every year, already for 3 years in a row, an event called International Festival of Education, FIEDU, and this actually came out of our idea that teachers never stop learning. So I would like to end up by inviting you actually to this lovely festival, and by saying that highly qualified teachers always put the child first. Yeah, so thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Alexandra, and we will be taking the questions at the end, and we will have you back with us in a few moments.
Sper să nu fiu eu cea care generează această microfonie, doar că în căști vă aud foarte, foarte rău și nu se înțelege absolut nimic, așa că folosesc YouTube-ul ca să înțeleg despre ce e vorba în sală. FIEDU s-a născut, așa cum am spus, și la ediția din această vară a festivalului, din nevoia noastră internă. Noi suntem 5 profesori actuali la 20 de copii și pentru că am păstrat legătura cu partenerii noștri finlandezi, ne doream foarte mult ca la un moment dat să vină aici și să ne vadă. Eu aveam nevoie să înțeleg mai multe despre leadership-ul educațional, iar colegele mele să mă înțeleagă de la alți profesori la nivel preșcolar cum se întâmplă lucrurile în Finlanda. Și mi s-a părut un act de egoism să îi chemăm pe acești experți doar pentru 5 persoane. Așa că i-am întrebat anul trecut dacă sunt de acord să împărtășească nu doar cu noi din practicile lor, ci și cu alți profesori din alte grădinițe și din alte școli. Au fost extrem de deschiși. Anul trecut ne-am organizat într-un timp foarte, foarte scurt, în 3 săptămâni, iar anul acesta ne-am organizat mai din timp. Am văzut că feedback-ul a fost foarte bun și așa că am trecut de la 100 de participanți la 500 de participanți. Și cred că am făcut ceva bine. Pentru că au venit profesori din toată țara, cred că toate județele au fost reprezentate la festival și acest lucru ne-a spus faptul că profesorii din România sunt pregătiți, sunt curioși și vor să se schimbe mai mult decât poate sistemul de la vârf în jos dorește să se flexibilizeze.
Mulțumesc. Mai sunt alte întrebări? Mai am eu una pentru toată lumea, fiecare, desigur, cu categoria lui de vârstă și de cunoștințe. Cu câți copii interacționați într-un an? O să încep cu Alexandra. 20? 20, ok.
20 de copii, așa cum spuneam, pe nivel preșcolar, vârsta lor este cuprinsă între 2 ani și jumătate și 5 ani. Dorința noastră este să scădem vârsta copiilor și să ne adresăm copiilor de la chiar 10 luni în sus, pentru că ne dăm seama că educația timpurie are nevoie de mai multă susținere și poate să reușim în direcția aceasta. Dacă o să reușim, o să aflați. Iar în plus, pentru că 20 de copii și 5 profesori sunt foarte puțini, vă dați seama ce costuri există, avem și alte activități care se adresează copiilor mai mari. Avem cursuri de programare, cursuri de gastronomie în limba engleză. Cumva, ceea ce ne propunem noi să facem este să avem cumva această curiculă finlandeză adusă și în România, dar cum în România nu văd cum s-ar întâmpla gastronomie în școală, la modul real, noi ne putem organiza în această direcție. Și așa că avem, cum spuneam, 20 de preșcolari și undeva la peste 100-150 de școlari cu care lucrăm în fiecare an.
Mulțumesc, Liliana.